one of the things you told me, after you had the interview with Luda and you came to the United States, is why people in the United States are not focused on what the real problem is here. And the problem is this came from the CCP, this came from this lab in Wuhan. So I want to go back to, walk us through in detail why you're making this claim, given your position that this came from Wuhan and every other aspect that people are talking about is some sort of spin or to take your eye off the ball.
Okay, actually, I came to U.S. and people still not realize about this situation actually based in China and origin from CCP regime is because first, very importantly, from the beginning of this pandemic, CCP government is trying their best to recruit even scientific field and like the organization as WHO to cover up all these things. And then they make up a lot of lies to mislead people who get into this field and trace their false information to the other side. So these things make people cannot find the real information about this. And actually, this virus is not origin from nature, not from the bat by itself. It is just a virus based on a bat virus, which is discovered and owned by Chinese Communist Party, the military lab.
Okay, hang on for 1 second. 1 second. When you say it's not from nature and it's not from a bat virus, that means it was made somehow. Walk us through, what is your evidence for that, and how can an American audience understand that? Because it's being spun here by the mainstream media, that bat woman, they show her all the time, and this bat. Walk us through, what do you mean it's not a bat virus and it's not natural, it's man-made?
Okay, so this is not a bat virus directly jump into human, and this is a virus based on a bat virus, which is discovered by PLA and owned by them, and going through the engineering modified in the lab, and also going through the serial passage in the animals to make it focus on human. So that's why we can say it's very powerful for human being now. So what we can say is there are very solid evidence. Simply, I can tell our audience that it's like we check something based on our fingerprint, and for the virus, the fingerprint is their genome. So we can see all this kind of evidence from their genome. That's also why in the beginning of the outbreak, China government tried to postpone the publish of the genome sequence and even change it because they initially put some wrong genome sequence to NIH database. And these are the things later be reviewed by me through Mr. Luda's YouTube, and then they quickly the next day submit Batwoman Xi Jinli's Nature paper, which was published on 3rd February about the RATG13 virus. And then the CCP controlled and influenced the whole scientific field, and WHO, these people, they start to tell people this is the real origin and mislead, drive the attention from the real origin of the virus to the RATG13 and build something based on it.
Take down the CCP!